'66, I think. And the construction back then was not good. So when I say I thought it was going to fall down, I literally thought it was going to fall down.
Oh, wow.
We built it back, and at least half of it, spent maybe $100,000 on the renovation. So
Oh, I bet it looks gorgeous.
half of it does. I'm still going to do the kitchen and laundry later, but it's a great lot. So yeah, I think it'll be good.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Adjust this a little bit. Okay.
Good?
Yep.
All right. All right, hey everybody, Bill's about to sit down here. Welcome to Ask Bill and Kate Thursday nights at 8. I am Kate Hafer with the Hafer Group of Southern Classic Realtors. We do this live every Thursday night and answer your real estate questions for you. And tonight we have a special guest, Mike Fitzgerald, owner of Fitzgerald Sons Plumbing Company here in Peachtree City since 1984, correct?
Yes.
And your company's family owned. Founder is your father, Richard Fitzgerald, and your father, your brother, Richard Jr., and yourself started Fitzgerald Sons Plumbing Company, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So.
Anything else you want to add to that?
It's been a long haul. I mean, we've been doing it for a long period of time, and have the residents of Peachtree City been very good to us.
So you mentioned that your father moved down here from New York. Was he a plumber up in New York as well?
Yeah, he was a union plumber up in Long Island, and decided to drop me off at college and head down and start a plumbing company. My grandparents had already lived in Peachtree City, worked for NCR since the 70s.
Yeah.
And so we had an in with the residents because they knew everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of folks that kind of recommended us early on, and we just grew the business from 1 truck to 2 trucks, and have just grown it for 30 years.
That's great.
That is great.
Yeah.
How many trucks y'all have now?
I think 35.
Wow.
But not just service trucks. We do new construction commercial as well. So we do a lot of hospital work, school work, things like that. So it's a mix of service and new construction commercial.
Now, what I saw, so your company has worked at Georgia Tech, Phipps Tower in Atlanta, Emory University Dormitory, Piedmont Fayette Hospital, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, just to name a few. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Those are all the new construction commercial jobs I was speaking of. Those are the contract jobs you see on our website. But yes, that is correct.
Wow. So what, off the top of your head, has been your most memorable project so far?
So we do a lot of hospital and med gas work, and that's early on we started working at Southern Regional Medical Center. When I was actually in the field, I was putting pipe in, so that's memorable. When we were a very small company. But probably the most unique project was the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, because we did the storm drain work in there. We didn't actually do the plumbing, but it was just a project like nothing we'll ever do again, because they don't build that many stadiums, obviously, in the Atlanta area.
Right.
And it was unique. The roof structure was very high, and because of that, the cranes needed to build the stadium were actually in our path of the storm drain, so it was very different than what we're accustomed to. You know, they have to stabilize the cranes in order to get real high, and a lot
That'd be so scary.
of times that was in our way of our trenching. So it was just very different than any project we've done.
Wow. How long did that particular
I think
project
we were on site for probably 14 months.
Okay.
But again, we didn't do like the bathrooms and the potable water. That was done by another contractor.
Okay. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with some questions that came in during the week, okay?
Sure.
All right, so, hi, my name is Tiffany, and I live in Sonoya, or Sonoy, or
Hi, Tiffany.
whatever you want to say. I've noticed that when I take a shower, my hot water runs out pretty fast now. Is that a sign of needing to increase the temperature of the water heater, or something more serious?
Oh, it may be so every electric water heater, and if you're talking about an electric water heater, they have 2 elements that heat the water, and if you're running out quickly, it's probably one of those elements are bad. meaning that they don't have continuity and they're not heating. So essentially you're getting mixed water, you're getting half the hot water. One element up top may be heating or down below and the other one may not be. That's probably the most likely. If it's a gas water heater, that's probably not likely because it heats evenly, it's the same all the time.
Wow.
Interesting.
It is interesting. All right, let's see. Then we'll get started. All right, Anthony from Fayetteville wants to know, what are some signs of having a leak under my slab?
Well, the easiest way to detect a leak under slab is find the main shutoff coming into your house. And if you turn that off and the meter continues to spin out at the street, which is Fayette County Water's meter, that means it's leaking between that point and that valve, which means it's not leaking under the slab, if that makes sense. If you turn that valve on and it starts spinning, that means the leak's probably either under the slab of the house, or it could even be a ball cock in a toilet, which is the water control mechanism in the toilet, just passing water very slowly. It'll register on the meter, but you won't see it. So it could be a runny toilet, and that's what that valve does. It differentiates between an outside leak and an inside leak.
Okay.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah, that is good to know. All right, Carla from Noonan says, when looking for plumbers to come out and service my home, what are some important questions I need to be asking them to make sure I'm hiring the right professional?
Well, I would tell you to look at the Google reviews and see what their history is, and find out what their warranty policies are. And I would say the biggest thing is to just see how long they've been in business. And some of the larger plumbing service companies have the ability to warranty things that maybe the smaller guys don't, because it's so costly. Some of the bigger service provider, whether it be HVAC or plumbing, they're going to be more concerned about their reputation, and they want to make sure they resolve everything and treat their customers very well. You know?
Right.
Because the more customers you have, the easier it is to hurt your reputation, in my opinion.
Very true. All right, Carla. And let's see, Stacy from Peachtree City says, sometimes my water out of the kitchen sink smells like rotten eggs. What could that be a sign of? And that's happened before.
Yeah, so this is a tricky one because before I go into the technical end, which is an anode rod within a water heater, the most obvious thing, if you have a garbage disposal, that too can emit odors sometimes, and people can get confused with when they run water, they smell bad odors, and sometimes it could be just the garbage disposal. An anode rod is in a water heater. It basically protects the lining of the water heater, the metal tank, from ions, essentially. And if the anode rod is compromised, it can very much leave a rotten egg smell. And the quickest way to do that is to call your local plumber, pull out the anode rod and see if it's got a bunch of buildup on it and it's been compromised. We have seen numerous occasions that anode rods in a water heater can cause the rotten egg smell.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's interesting.
Then that can go away instantly once the, is pulled out and all that?
That's correct. But
That's good.
but I will tell you that rotten egg smell from an anode rod is fairly infrequent. Like that's not typically the case.
Huh. So it's not bad city water or anything like that?
No. The water coming from the towers at Fayette County Water System is all the same for everybody. So it's typically a condition within your own house that may be providing that odor.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, because ever since we had that smell years ago, I always drink bottled water now, even though people say, no, you can purify it, but I just haven't done it.
Well, I drink bottled water too.
You do? Well, hey, that says something.
And I have access to filtration systems. It's drinking water. I don't brush my teeth with filtered water, but I do. Drinking water I prefer. I wait in line like everybody else at Home Depot and get the big bottles because I don't like using recyclable. I don't like the plastic mess with individual water bottles. So
Do you do the purified or the spring water, or it doesn't matter?
Home Depot or Lowe's sells the big giant jugs with the dispensers that you.
We need to do that
Yeah.
because we have just the bottles and then they're like all over the place and
I
the
do
plants
it
with
for ocean. I'm a believer, and we got to get rid of all this plastic waste that's polluting our society. I do, and I'm not perfect. I'm not going to tell you I don't ever drink a bottle of water, but I try. I have tried over the last couple of years to do better. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Do you like carry a thermos with you?
I drink a lot of solo cups full of water. No,
Okay.
I'm not that regimented that I carry my own bottle around. But I'm trying not to do individual bottled waters as much. I think everybody should consider,
Well, we
trying
should
get rid of
probably do
those.
that
Yeah, we should.
because we go through a lot of
I know, we all do.
plastic over here. Okay. Well,
Everybody does.
And but you have the option with that as to whether you get it chilled or unchilled, right?
Yes.
With those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
She
the one-
doesn't like it cold, but I like it cold.
Yeah.
I
think
like a room temperature.
Yeah. Well, you can have both. Yeah. I think the settings are both. You can actually, there's a red and a green and a blue outlet on those things. So one is chilled and one is
Interesting.
temperature. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, here's a joke for you guys. All right. What do you call a country where everyone is pissed?
Don't know.
No clue? A urination.
Huh?
A urination.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I was thinking about a country name, but.
Yeah, no. I know, it's silly, but we do a joke every week, so that's one of them.
I'm a little slow on the joke, sorry.
I am too.
Yeah. Sometimes I gotta be
So
explained.
she's the one
to
who
me.
looks them up, so she knows the
Ah.
answers.
Yeah.
Oh,
so.
okay. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you cheated. Yeah. Cool.
Alright. Oh gosh. Alright, well everyone, and now it is game time. We're going to play What's That, Mike? We're going to look at some things on the screen that Bill has up here. Some things that can happen if you have some plumbing issues at your home. And we're going to try to guess what we're looking at, and then Mike will tell us what we're looking at.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so let me switch the camera around.
What screen am I looking at?
Right here.
TV screen over
Am
here.
I staying here?
So
You can come to this side if you like, or whichever you feel
Yeah,
most comfortable.
I'll go sit in Bill's chair. So it's,
Okay, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit.
And sorry for the blurry thing. I didn't get a good quality picture on that, but
So we got some kind of leak under the sink going on. What's typically the cause with something like that?
I'm having a hard time seeing exactly what's leaking there, but what I see is that's a P-trap, and then there's probably a different branch coming off of the dishwasher. And more than likely, it's just a leaking waistline that's underneath the sink. I can tell you all that piping is flexible piping, which we don't put in. Everything's hard piped. So if you notice how that one pipe going down right there is
Right.
on an angle, everything should be,
what, this one here?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that the going down through the wall is a flexible line. That should be a rigid pipe. So, but I feel bad for the lady there because she seems very distressed.
So what about the feeder lines? I've seen a lot more lately of more flexible feeder lines.
You're talking about the water distribution lines? Yeah. So PEX, when we first went into business back in the '80s, polybutylene was a big pipe that failed in vast numbers all over the country, and so most people at that point were averse to putting in plastics in their house. We used to repipe houses all the time with copper, NCPVC, a different type of plastic. So, but now PEX is a fairly new, or Ubra, it's a fairly new product that is excellent. In fact, we're using it everywhere now. Repipes, and it's comes in coils, and it almost runs like conduit or repipe, but it's a quality product, and we're using it everywhere now. In fact, they're starting to use it in commercial applications.
Oh, wow.
So is it easier to install or is it?
Yeah, it's easier because it doesn't require like copper. You had to solder all the joints back in the day,
Mhm.
and everything was cut and cleaned. It's very labor intensive. The PAX is literally run like electrical conduit. So you can imagine in a new house, you just pull it like wiring almost, and you make the connections and the T's, and it's such a labor savings. And quite frankly, the product's excellent. I would recommend it for anybody in a residential situation and commercial. So,
Oh, wow.
And is there anything similar to that for gas or not?
gas piping is actually a corrugated aluminum pipe that's coated with plastic, whether it be most of the stuff we use now is black,
Right.
But very different. But these are new products. So to your point, running gas pipe in houses in the old days meant cutting and threading pipe all the time.
Right.
This stuff is also run like conduit. It comes in a roll, and then you just make the connection. So yeah, technology and these new products are definitely the way to go.
So we talked about this situation, kind of, sort of, but it was more in a slab situation. This looks like this is more a crawl space, but is this a situation where it's a good chance that the water leak is coming from the outside?
Well, we don't know. That could be an elevated slab, honestly. So you're right. It looks like a crawl space, but that could also be a filled-in slab that's on grade on the right side of the house. And imagine this is the left side of the house, and
Right.
it drops off. So that could actually be. But I will tell you, most underslab leaks don't surface on the top of the slab. They disperse through the gravel under the slab. So this leak is more than likely, it could be a condensate line for a heating and air line. It could be a leaking waste line in the house that just found its way to this outside wall. Or it could be an underslab leak, but it's very difficult to tell. I mean, it's definitely a leak, but it's hard to tell by this picture.
Interesting. Bill, there's still, I guess I didn't do a very good job with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's still blurry.
No, I can see that. So what this is remember earlier I spoke of the two elements
Right, yeah.
that go into the water heater. This is a thermostat or a bottom element. I can't tell because of that is what I'm talking. What this is those elements and thermostat. Well, the thermostats are mounted to the outside, but the elements are actually threaded into the water heater, and all that looks like is a leaking element that's leaking, and over a long period of time, a lot of these water heaters are in closets that don't get open very frequently, and you can imagine that right there. It's got a cover over it, so all you'll see is those two streaks coming down towards the boiler drain, and it's just an internal leak in the water heater. And the biggest issue with water heaters is, do you repair or do you replace? The average lifespan of a water heater like that's 8 to 15 years. And if you can imagine spending $300 trying to fix this leak right here, and then another leak spring on the tank itself 4 months later, and you essentially wasted your money. In a situation where a heater looks like that, I would recommend full replacement of the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that would be the way to go, without knowing the age of it.
So looking at it, it looks like it's an electric.
It's definitely electric.
Are you able to make it go like that so it's not blurry, or?
No, it's fine.
what do you think?
We're not going to get any more information out of it, so
Okay.
no, that picture's fine.
So here we got a clog. I don't know if we got a clog.
That's a
Yeah.
tub.
Yes, it's a bathtub, and so what he's doing is he's sending a snake down the drain, which I would not recommend in a bathtub stoppage.
Oh,
Majority of the bathtub stoppages are just hair for the people that are using the bathtubs or showers, and a lot of times that can be fixed just by taking the drain cover off the drain and literally going in there and pulling out the hair. That sewer machine will only go so far because the tub drain, it goes on a direct 90-degree back into another and you can't clear the two angles. So that is not the way to handle a tub drain stoppage.
Oh, very, very interesting.
Yeah, so that's not a very realistic picture.
Huh, okay.
Interesting.
We have more, or is that it?
Yep, no, there's at least one more.
Okay, hey, that's a clear one. We got one clear one.
That is a freeze break. Essentially what happens when poorly insulated walls, and we get these deep freezes, you know, when they built a lot of these older houses in Georgia, they did not insulate a lot of the outside walls very well, and that's what it looks like when a copper pipe freezes, and it won't leak until it thaws, but once it thaws, it splits because the ice expands. It cuts a crease in a copper pipe like that, and then when it thaws, and it's crazy. There are times when we get deep freezes around here, and we've had a lot over the last 2 decades. And it really takes for the weather to be below 30 degrees, 20 degrees for 3 or 4 days to where it doesn't get above 30, and then we run ragged for weeks trying to handle all the customers that have broken pipes.
Boy,
Yeah.
I was sitting here right on that couch, and it was January, I don't know, several years ago, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden there was water pouring down the outside of that door. And I'm thinking, it's not raining. I'm looking outside, like, what is going on? The pipe in the attic burst.
Yeah.
And then eventually the ceiling caved in. That was a big, huge 10-hour mess to clean up. It was horrible.
Yeah. And, you know, it used to be, so when we first started business down here, we saw a lot of uninsulated areas. So what ends up happening over the years is you have these freeze events. Most everybody has it happen to them, and then they insulate the area around what froze to prevent it from happening again. So over the years, we don't see freeze break as quite as bad as we did 20 years ago, because most people get tired of it and they insulate it. And anyway, but one thing I will tell you, we talked earlier about the PEX piping I was talking about. That stuff won't do this. It's one of the greatest parts of it.
Because it'll expand a little bit?
It just will not. It'll freeze, but it won't split. It's just because of how strong the pipe is. It's very thick wall, and the polymers, I guess, the plastic just won't split.
Wow.
So it's really, and for those reasons in cold weather climates, it's really a good product.
That's neat.
Maybe it, let me just double check. Nope, there's one more.
And another clear one.
Yeah, that's your ceiling after you freeze break.
It is. Oh gosh.
That's what it looks like, by the way.
It was right there.
Yeah. Oh, that's there?
No,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is this is just a picture that I pulled up, but when it happened right there.
I got you.
They had to quarantine the room and check for mold, and it was big mess.
Yeah.
Wow.
That looks like that's been going on for a while, though, doesn't it? Or
It's hard to tell. It's probably because how spread out that other part is, but it's impossible to tell.
So that's it, right? Okay. Interesting pictures. And they're always fun.
okay, I'll switch this back.
Do you want to go back to my seat?
We're playing musical chairs here. Well, hopefully y'all learned something from that. I did. All right. So Bill's on his way back over here.
Yep.
All right. Here's a fun fact. In America, a toilet is flushed more times during the Super Bowl halftime than in any other time during the year.
Wow.
That's what Google said.
Not by me, but yeah. I enjoy the halftime show.
Yeah, you don't go away. I want to see it too.
There's plenty of commercials during the game, right?
Exactly.
Some of those are the most entertaining part of the show.
Exactly.
Oh man. Well, all right, everybody. Well, that's it for tonight. And Mike, we really, really have enjoyed you coming on our show. And you know, we've been in business, like I was telling Mike earlier, 2 years, and so we're trying to make it big. And you've been in business for a long time, so that really means a lot to us.
Absolutely, it's very nice to meet. Very nice to meet both of you.
Nice to meet you too. And if y'all have a plumbing need, reach out and call Fitzgerald Sons Plumbing 770-487-8714 or go to fitzgeraldplumbing.com.
Excellent.
All right. And for those of you watching, I want you to like this page, leave a comment, go to thehafergroup.com and sign up for the Hafer Group's awesome weekly newsletter. We can keep up with the market and other fun stuff. And I throw live webcams in there, song of the week too, to make it fun. It goes out every Wednesday morning via email, so check it out. All right, everybody, tune in next week, same day and time. We'll be back for Ask Kate, Bill and Kate, Thursday nights at 8. And as always, you can call or text anytime, 678-628-KATE with your real estate needs. All right, everybody, have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Wow.